Anthem 39, Once More My Soul, The Rising Day. Welcome to Anthem 39 in my attempt to write a new choir anthem every week for a year. I'm Kevin Mulrine and I hope you'll enjoy listening to my progress throughout 2024. Do please visit the website anthem52.com, follow along on X or Instagram at realanthem52 and send me a message to show@anthem52.com. I've been trying to catch up with Anthem production this week. I was only a few days behind, but I don't want to be faced with a deficit at the end of the year. So here's an anthem I completed rather quickly. I don't think it's suffered from the speed of composition, but you'll have to be the judge of that. I used the same collection of Isaac Watts words as last week, and I looked for something a bit more upbeat. It seemed to work because the process of writing didn't depress me, in the non-clinical sense, like last week's did. Here are the words I chose. Once more my soul, the rising day, salutes thy waking eyes. Once more my voice thy tribute pay to him that rules the skies. Night unto night his name repeats, the day renews the sound. Wide as the heaven on which he sits to turn the seasons round. 1,000 wretched souls are fled since the last setting sun, and yet thou lengthenest out my thread, and yet my moments run. Dear God, let all my hours be thine, whilst I enjoy the light, then shall my sun in smiles decline and bring a pleasing night. This time I missed out 2 verses, but hopefully the sense has been preserved. The start of the anthem features a rising bass line, which I think is in Dorian mode. Even if that's wrong, it sounds quirky and unusual. The rest of the choir come in with an answering phrase in 3/4 rather than the opening 4/4. More quirkiness. The end of this phrase is A major, a nice little feature, as they say. This pattern is repeated several times in the choir parts with variations. For example, the bass part becomes more diatonic, and the organ enters after the second iteration of the choir figure. Then the organ accompanies the choir with a rocking motion in 3/4 to accentuate the duller, quieter soundscape for the verse, which begins, 1,000 wretched souls are fled. There are plenty of strange intervals and conflicts between organ and choir, deliberately, I might add, and the choir is left unaccompanied to complete the section. I did put in pauses over the bar lines to separate the 3 sections of the anthem, but Muse Score doesn't take any notice of that and just ploughs on. So you'll have to imagine those gaps, I'm afraid. The final section repeats the opening material, but with the words of the last verse, and everything ends up being triumphant and loud. Perhaps I would add more into that last section given the opportunity to revise this anthem, but I'm pleased with a lot of the effects and overall feel of it as it is. Anyway, see what you think. Well, what do you think? Let me know on x.com @realanthem52, Instagram, the same address, as a comment on the show notes for this week, or via email, show@anthem52.com. I hope you'll join me next week for a new episode and a new anthem. Only 13 to go. But until then, the question remains, will I make it to Anthem 52?